Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ron with RNG, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Sushi Go. Sushi Go is a drafting game for 2 to 5 players developed by Phil Walker Harding and published by Gamewright Games in 2013. In Sushi Go, each player is trying to draft a varied tableau of cards based on popular Japanese foods in order to score the most points and win the game. Let's take a look. These are all of the components you will receive with Sushi Go. We have a stack of 108 cards consisting of 8 different types of cards. Of these 8 types, we have 14 tempura cards, 14 sashimi cards, 14 dumpling cards, 26 maki roll cards consisting of 12 double roll, 8 triple roll, and 6 single roll cards, 20 nigiri cards consisting of 10 salmon, 5 squid, and 5 egg cards, 10 pudding cards, 6 wasabi cards, and finally 4 chopsticks cards. In addition to these cards, you will need a method of keeping score for each of your players. This can be a pen and paper, a cell phone, a tablet, or even an abacus. Almost any common score tracking method will work. Use whatever you have lying around. I recommend a pen and paper. Winning a game of Sushi Go is very simple. Score more points than the other players. Let's take a closer look and see exactly how you do that. Sushi Go's setup is quite simple. Shuffle all 108 cards together until they are thoroughly mixed and deal a number of cards to each player based on the number of players in the game. For a 2-player game, you will deal 10 cards. For a 3-player game, you will deal 9 cards. For a 4-player game, you will deal 8 cards. And for a 5-player game, you will deal 7 cards. Players are free to look at and rearrange these cards as they wish, though they should keep them secret from the other players. Place the undealt portion of the deck off to the side. And now, you're ready to play. Sushi Go is played over 3 rounds. Each player will play a number of cards and score points based on those cards at the end of each round. After the 3rd round, final scoring will take place, and then we will determine the winner. To begin the first round, all players will select a single card to play from the cards dealt to them. They will take that card and place it face down in front of them on the table. Once everyone has selected a card, all players will reveal their cards simultaneously. After every player has revealed his or her cards, all players will pass what remains of their hand to the player on their left. You will receive a hand of cards from the person on your right that is 1 card smaller than the hand that you were originally dealt. From this slightly smaller hand of cards, you will again select 1 card and place it face down in front of you. And, once again, after all players have selected his or her card, everyone will reveal their cards simultaneously and pass what remains of their hand to the player on their left. You will continue drafting cards in this fashion until you are left with a single card. After passing your single card to the person on your left and receiving a single card from the person on your right, all players will simultaneously reveal and place this final card in their tableau. This is the last card of the round that you will place. Next, you will add up all of the points you scored based on the cards in your tableau. In Sushi Go, each different type of card will score points differently. Maki roll cards will be scored by adding up all of the Maki roll icons on top of each of your cards and comparing your Maki roll total to that of the other players. The player with the most Maki rolls will score 6 points. The player with the second most Maki rolls will score 3 points. If 2 or more players are tied, then the points are split as evenly as possible amongst the tied players and any leftover points are ignored. If 2 or more players tie for the most Maki rolls, then, after splitting the points, no points will be awarded to the player or players with the second most Maki rolls. Each set of 2 tempura cards will net you 5 points. A single tempura card is not worth any points. 10 points will be awarded for each set of 3 sashimi cards. A single sashimi card or a pair of sashimi cards are not worth any points. Dumpling cards award points based on how many dumplings you collected. 1 dumpling card will net you 1 point, 2 cards will net you 3 points, 3 cards, 6 points, 4 cards, 10 points, 5 cards, 15 points. Any more than 5 dumpling cards will give you a maximum of 15 points, therefore collecting any dumplings beyond 5 is not necessary. You will gain points for nigiri cards based on which type of nigiri card you have in front of you. Squid nigiri is worth 3 points, salmon nigiri is worth 2 points, and egg nigiri is worth 1 point. Any pudding cards you have may be set to the side of your tableau and held onto until the final round is concluded. Wasabi and chopsticks cards will not score you any points by themselves, so if you have any lone wasabi or chopsticks hanging out, feel free to start a discard pile and move them there. Once you have tallied up your total number of points for the round, record your point total along with all of the other players on the score tracking method of your choice. Set any pudding cards you may have played aside and discard the rest of the cards in front of you. You can now start a new round. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that wasabi and chopsticks cards do not score in the same way other cards do. I will now explain how these cards work. After you have selected and placed a chopsticks card in front of you, you can, on a later turn, declare Sushi Go and take a second card from your hand, place that one face down on the table, and return the chopsticks to your hand. You will then reveal both cards that are now face down in front of you, giving you 2 cards in one turn. Replacing a second card with the chopsticks should be done after selecting your first card and placing it face down, but before revealing any face down cards in any player's tableau. In effect, playing chopsticks allows you to skip taking a card this turn in order to take 2 cards on a later turn. You may have multiple chopsticks cards in front of you at any time, but you may only use 1 per turn. Wasabi cards are used as modifiers for your nigiri cards. After playing a wasabi card in front of you like normal, the next time you reveal a nigiri card, place that nigiri card on top of your face-up wasabi card. By dipping the nigiri in the wasabi in this manner, you triple the point value of that one specific nigiri card. Only 1 nigiri card may be placed on any one wasabi card, but you can have more than 1 wasabi card waiting for nigiri at any time. You will repeat this process of dealing out a new set of cards, selecting and playing cards one at a time, and tallying up the score totals once you run out of cards for 2 more rounds. After playing and scoring 3 full rounds, you will now score the pudding cards you have set aside throughout the game. Add up the number of pudding cards you played and compare it with the rest of the players. The player who played the most pudding cards will score 6 points. The player who played the least pudding cards will lose 6 points. If multiple people tie for the most or the least pudding cards played, split up the points evenly and ignore any remainder. If all players have the same number of pudding cards played, no points will be awarded to anyone. Add the points you scored from your 3 rounds of play and your points from playing pudding cards to get your final total. Whomever has the most points at this point is declared the winner. And that's it. You are now prepared to play Sushi Go, so get out there and start playing.